Right. Welcome back to the Off the Bench podcast, episode 2. Today we're going to be talking about the UFC, a recap on UFC 313 before we're jumping into the recent news in the NBA. So, UFC 313.
UFC 313.
It was on Sunday, the Pereira Ankalaev card.
A few upsets.
Very shocking.
Yeah.
It was a very shocking card.
Did you watch it live?
I didn't watch it live.
No.
I was busy. I couldn't. I was quite upset about it.
But you saw the decisions apparently?
You saw the decisions. I've watched most of the fights, not all the fights, especially from that main card. And yeah, I watched the full highlights of the Pereira Ankalaev. I watched the extended highlights of the Gaethje-Fiziev fight, and I had a look at the normal highlights of the Bahamondes and the Turner fight, and obviously I saw that knockout from Mauricio Rufy.
What a hit.
I couldn't not say that.
Such a good hit.
So yes, I did have a look at most of the fights. Which one do you want to start with? Do you want to start at the bottom?
Let's start with some of the prelims.
Okay.
So, the Curtis Blades fight.
Yeah.
I was pretty excited for. That got scratched because he had illness. He had a backhand.
Yeah.
I saw somewhere that the guy that he was fighting was being investigated for PEDs as well.
Okay.
So apparently there was rumors of it being pushed back before Blades got sick anyway.
Yeah.
But I've heard that that's going to get rebooked in the future, so that'll still be a good fight. Joshua Van, won by decision. Good. I'm very high on Joshua Van. I think
main card next fight, you reckon?
I think he's good enough to be main card. He's got the hands. He defended every takedown.
Where should he look to fight next, you reckon? So obviously winning that fight, there's the Japanese guy. Where's he looking to go, you think, now? Is he looking to get a spot in that top 15?
I think you could put him up in the top 15. He's in the flyweight division.
Yeah.
Which we all know is led by Pantoja. But let's see, because I'm not sure who's at the bottom of those rankings. You could get Kaya Sakura.
Yeah.
Versus Joshua Van could be a good fight. Kaya Sakura coming off that loss to Pantoja. That could be a good fight to make.
How does he shake up in that type of fight, though?
Well, they're both strikers. I think Asakura is a very flashy striker.
Yeah.
I think Van is very technical.
Okay.
Neither of them are really grapplers, but from what I've seen, Van's takedown defense is like very good. Yeah, it's very good. So I think a fight like that, just to get him into the rankings, would be pretty good.
Yep.
And then, you can kind of just build off of that from there. But just something to get him in there, I think he's good enough to at least be in the top 15.
Yeah.
And then, just kind of build him up from there.
And then, moving on now to the main card.
There's King Green and Mauricio Rufy. Rufy looked good.
Rufy, I heard, looked very good. Everyone saw the knockout. A lot of comparisons to Conor.
I saw that as well.
A lot of comparisons to
Conor as well.
But I feel it's a little bit early. Like, Conor was, like, everyone sees who Conor is now, but in Conor's prime, he was amazing.
He was something else.
His accuracy was next level. Yeah. His death touch of that left hand, next level.
I do see that accuracy for Rufy, though. He's a very flashy striker.
Yeah, it does.
He's a very accurate striker.
And I think his knockout showed that. You're not doing his spinning, like, wheel kick, back kick, without being accurate. You're not throwing that unless you're really accurate or you're really brash.
Yeah.
But him knocking King Green out with that.
With that being said, as good as Rufy looked, I think Green looked terrible. I don't know if maybe in his head a little bit from the Paddy Pimblett fight. I don't know if maybe he wasn't fully recovered. but he looked very slow.
All I know is, if I'm changing my name to King, I ain't getting knocked out like that. No, you can't be getting knocked out like that if you change your name to King. That is horrid. Like, you've changed your name, you're now King Green, and you're just copping a knockout like that, where you're on everybody's highlight reel. Like, that might be knockout in a year.
You've been King Green for 2 fights, and you got submitted, and you got knocked out.
And they had their way with you. Like, you were not even in that fight.
Yeah. Next up was Amanda Lemos and Yasmin Lucindo. That fight was... I had Lucindo.
Yeah.
When we talked about it last week.
Same.
And she just wasn't anywhere near as aggressive as I was hoping she would be.
A little bit tame.
Lemos was just kind of dominating on the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing else really to say about that. Like, it wasn't as entertaining as I thought she would make it beat.
Yeah. I haven't actually watched that fight. I haven't really heard much about it. Like, there was nobody saying, "Oh, I've got to watch this fight," or whatever.
I think it was just a show of Lemos being a bit more of a veteran, having more experience.
It was probably one of those fights that was quite boring because Lemos thought, I have to win boring.
Yeah.
Like, for Lemos to win, she had to win in a boring style. And because she got that job done, it was a boring fight.
Yeah.
But there's always those fights.
Always, 100%. Next up, we had Jalen Turner and Ignacio Bahamondes. I had Jalen Turner by knockout, coming off of that fight.
I had Jalen Turner, but I wasn't confident in Turner. I thought it was a much closer fight than you thought it was.
I was confident until that morning when I started hearing that if he loses, he might retire, which he ended up doing. He retired immediately after the fight.
Yeah.
So you could say afterwards that he wasn't really in it mentally. If you're thinking about retiring before the fight,
how much are you really into it? Like,
exactly.
Or are you kind of just thinking, let's just get through this?
Yeah.
It would have been nice to see him finish on a win. I didn't see him getting submitted that quickly.
Well, have you watched the replay of the fight?
No, not the whole thing. I saw, like, the end.
So they were on the ground.
Yeah.
And it kind of looked like Turner escaped the submission.
And
then he went back in for a strike. And when he went back in, he kind of put himself in position for that triangle.
Yeah, okay. So he kind of just threw himself back in while he got himself out.
If he had gone from and just stood up, I think he would have been fine and it would have kept going.
Yeah.
But instead, he went back into it and ended up getting submitted.
So, okay.
It was kind of like by his own error. Like I said, I don't think he was fully in it, especially if he was already thinking about retiring prior to the fight.
Yep.
Still, it sucks to see him go out on a win, but on a loss, sorry. The Bahamondes looked very good. Yeah, he looked very good. He's coming off of 2 big wins now, submission versus Jalen Turner, and knockout previously over at UFC313, which I can't remember who he fought there, but that was also a good knockout win.
Yeah, it was just a good display. Now I'm at the good fights.
Gaethje and Fiziev.
Look, I had a couple of guys text me when Fiziev was walking in. All they kept telling me was, man, this guy looks scary.
He looked good.
And he did look good in what I've watched. Gaethje just, like, Fiziev won the first round.
Yep.
And quite easily.
Yep.
10-9 right there. And when I heard, I was a little bit worried for Gaethje. I was like, oh, does he lose his fight? What happens here? He's been a 3-rounder. It's really hard to come back after a 10-9 loss in the first. But then it was like a clinic. Like,
Gaethje, he turned up.
Gaethje just turned it on, and his striking got better. He was much more clinical with his striking, not so brash. It was a really good display from Gaethje in rounds 2 to 3.
Yep. I think Fiziev looked very good, but I think in that 3rd round especially, he was gassed, and you could tell he was gassed.
Yeah, sure can.
I think a part of that was because he came in on short notice. He didn't have a full training camp. Maybe he went a little bit too hard. at the start.
Yeah.
Maybe the tempo of the fight was
I think he might have. I think he might have went a little bit hard at the start, but then I think when he went hard, what might have tied it out a lot wasn't the fact that he went so hard at the start. I think it was more that Gaethje responded by saying, "All right, let's keep going at this pace," and he wasn't trying to back down from the pace where Fiziev could then slow it down and still control. Gaethje kept the pace up, and he was like, "Okay, let's go."
Yeah, no, I was very impressed with both of them. I don't think Fiziev, should be discredited for losing that fight.
No,
he looked very good.
It was a win-win situation, I think, for Fiziev, as long as he didn't get his head knocked off.
Yeah.
Because I think him coming in, him winning that first round, him looking quite good, being the 11th ranked guy against a guy who was three Gaethje, yeah, 3. You're not meant to win that fight.
No.
You're meant to lose. You're meant to get shown up. Look at what Islam did to the number 10 seed.
To Moicano.
Yeah, Moicano. I forgot his name then. He came in short notice, just like Fiziev did. Knocked down Islam and then just got done.
Yeah.
But nobody discredited him because it was like, well, you came in on short notice, you're the lower ranked guy, you weren't meant to win. I think similar thing, even though Gaethje wasn't the champion.
Yeah.
Similar thing happens here, and it was good to see for him. Don't know how it'll affect his rankings, but I don't think you should go down from it.
No.
It's not of your loss that you go down from.
He'll stay at 11. I don't think he took any sort of like major damage in that fight, so I wouldn't be surprised to see him in a pretty quick turnaround.
And the argument for him is you had Gaethje worried.
Yeah.
You had him worried.
Yeah.
Like, you can't lie. Like, Gaethje went into that corner and was like, oh, I'm going to have to turn it up. I actually have to turn up for this fight, which is always dangerous when you have a guy coming in on short notice, that the guy who was there will take it easy.
Yeah, 100%. And then the biggest upset of the night, Ankalaev wins by unanimous decision.
Yeah. Would you say it's the biggest upset, though, in the fact that it was a really closely betted fight? Like, the odds weren't like...
They weren't heavy.
They weren't heavily, no.
It was close from when the fight got announced until it occurred. The odds were fairly close.
And I do remember saying last podcast, I said, look, I can't bet against Pereira with my conscience. Like, my conscience won't let me do it. But I was worried. I was very worried. I thought Ankalaev looks good, and I thought his submission and his wrestling might have him. But he didn't even take Alex down, and he still got the fight done.
I think
it was weird. Like, he had, 12 takedown attempts? Failed them all.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's his way to winning. He didn't even win that way, which shocked me.
No, I think, personally, watching the fight, I think Alex won rounds 1, 3.
I was about to say, do you want to go through the rounds?
I think Alex won rounds 1, 3, and 5.
So, yeah.
I think Ankalaev outstruck him in that second round. And you might have seen a clip where he had him stunned for a second.
Well, it was only 10 seconds left. I think that's what saved Alex.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, if Ankalaev does that with a minute left, did he stop Alex?
Yeah.
And I think it's a flip of the coin. Sometimes you see guys get out of that.
Yeah.
But then sometimes, like you said, like, for example, Izzy got out of it against Strickland. I know he wasn't the same the rest of the fight, but he got out of that situation where he got dropped. But then sometimes you can see guys, especially fighting grapplers, they get dropped, the grapplers just launch on, and all of a sudden they're done. Yeah. And I think that could have happened. Yeah. That really could have happened. But it didn't. But going through the rounds, for me, what I've watched over, I had Pereira in round 1. I thought his kicking game was elite in that first round. His low kicks, his leg kicks were amazing. And it was just like a good setup to watch. Like, it was just like, okay, he's just ticking over. Let's get into this fight. Let's damage some legs. Let's take out his power. So 10-9, I had Pereira round 1.
Yep.
I had Ankalaev round 2.
Yep.
Rocking Pereira. But then the whole round, every single time Pereira would come in with that right, the counter left. Immediate. That's how he rocked it. But it was just immediate. Bang. Bang. And Pereira wasn't getting his hand back. So he was like, bang. There's the chin. And I think that was a big reason why he won that round. He was just pumping Alex that whole round with the counter. So I had 10-9 Ankalaev, tied fight. I had round 3 Ankalaev.
I had round 3 Carrera.
So I thought it was really close.
I think I think could swing either.
And I think you could swing either way. And what I was going to say was I could see your point of it was so close, give it to the champ.
Yeah.
But I think with the way round 2 went, and then him backing up round 2 with another really close round is why he got that round.
Yeah.
It was like a compound effect. Okay, you've rocked it. You've smashed him in round 2. How are you going to respond? And he responded so well. Another close round. Alex came out like, okay, I'm going to have to turn it on. And I thought Ankalaev answered well. So I actually had Ankalaev there.
Okay. I think round 4 you have to give to Ankalaev.
Yeah, round 4 is Ankalaev.
I think you give it to him off of controls. I don't know, we have all else that happened that round.
It was just a couple of minutes of control time.
It was a couple of minutes of just hugging him against the cage.
And Alex did well not to get taken down.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I think overall, and then the fifth round, I had Pereira.
I had Pereira 10-9 fifth round. So then for me, that was the 48-47.
Yeah.
To Ankalaev. But what annoyed me was it wasn't that Ankalaev won. It was the fact that one of the judges scored 49-46, and I couldn't find round 1 or round 5 that Ankalaev could have possibly won.
Yeah.
I don't get. And I think it was round 5 he gave to Ankalaev.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait.
Yeah, up and down.
That's what annoyed me. And that almost ruins the win for me in Ankalaev, where I was almost defending Alex when I had Ankalaev winning. Because I was like, it's not a 49-46. It's really not. Where did you rank that? So I thought it was a very close fight. I thought it was a very good fight. Considering Ankalaev didn't even take him down, it's really impressive.
Yeah.
That he won the fight.
I think I understand why Ankalaev won.
Yeah, it was a flip of the coin.
I'm not mad that Ankalaev won because I think he looked really good. He had Alex on his back feet.
Yeah.
For almost the entire fight, which is weird.
Because it wasn't because of the takedowns, it was because of the striking. I think it was that round 2.
Well, I think
that shocked Pereira.
I think in Alex's head, when you have got a guy that has a threat of taking me down and the threat of grappling, but he's also a really good striker, you're going to be a bit more timid. And I think that's what we saw from Alex this fight. I think he wasn't himself. He wasn't very aggressive. He was rarely advancing. I think he did went on the takedowns, but I think a reason why he did so well on the takedowns is because he was always on the way back.
He was always thinking of him, yeah.
He always had that space. He kept a lot more distance than what I'm used to seeing from him. I'm disappointed he lost, but I'm not surprised after seeing him perform it.
I had this conversation the other day, right? So, obviously I said Ankalaev in rounds I had winning, right? But then I'm also a big believer in the fact that in a championship fight, when it's a flip of the coin, it should go to the champ.
I don't know.
Because in my eyes, if you're a challenger, you're coming into the champ's house, you're saying, I'm going to knock you off the top of the mountain. You can't scrape by.
No.
I think any scraping goes to the champ. I think you have to show I'm better. I've knocked you down. Like, I don't have to knock you out. I don't have to submit you, but I have to win that fight. And I have to have everybody go, yeah, that was a win.
If you're the challenger, you need to win pretty convincingly.
That's what I think, yeah. Like, kind of like what Strickland did.
Exactly. And I think when it was as close as it is, you're right. And especially when Alex defends all 12 takedowns and outstrikes you, I'm a bit iffy. Again, I think Ankalaev is very good.
And I just, like as I said, I had Ankalaev winning in rounds.
Yeah.
When I've scored them. But I am always a big believer on you have to go beat the champ.
Yeah.
You cannot scrape, but you've got to beat it.
Yeah.
I'm always a big believer in that. And it can make it really hard because it's almost kind of saying, oh, you have to win an extra round, or it's making it harder for the challenger. But isn't that the whole point? You're trying to knock off a champ. You're not just winning a ranked fight.
No, you're going for the belt.
Yeah. So that's just what I believe. Moving on, Dana says there will be a rematch.
he said an immediate rematch.
Yeah, which
tells me that it'll be, sooner rather than later.
I'm calling like 317, 318.
No. I reckon 318. 317 is International Fight Week. And I've heard rumors of a Jones Aspinall main event with an Oliveira Topuria co-main.
You reckon it's Oliveira Topuria? I was going to ask, but I had it written down. Ilia Topuria saying we'll be shocked about who he's fighting. I was going to say, who do you think it'll be? So you reckon it's going to be Oliveira?
Well,
I've heard of 2 different things.
I've heard about a Topuria Oliveira co-main with an Aspinall Jones main event being signed for international fight.
That would be so.
That would be amazing.
I'd drop anything to.
I would be so scared for Oliveira.
Yeah, because he cops too many on that chin of his.
Well, he's got a glass chin, right? Like he gets rocked every way.
Yeah. And Topuria will just knock his lights out.
Yeah.
And we haven't seen Topuria wrestle, so it could be a really good chance to see what happens when he gets put in that position of you've got to go wrestle.
Well,
if you get tied down,
essentially no wrestlers to the best jiu-jitsu guy of the roster.
One of them ever. When it comes to most submissions ever and stuff, he has them.
Yeah.
So he's arguably ever. So it will be a really big challenge for him. I was also hearing things about, there's always when there's a shock, it's going to be Connor. I don't think it's going to be Connor.
It's not. I doubt it. Very full.
It would shock me. It would definitely shock me, but I doubt it. Or will it be a Sarukian?
Sarukian is the other one that I could.
And then it's like a Dana saying, you pulled out of your title fight, go earn it back.
Yep.
Go beat this guy. And I would say fair enough.
I mean, we touched on it last week. That Dana said that Sarukian isn't going to get an immediate
rematch. Going to earn it.
Yeah. And I think that there's a good chance that could be against Topuria.
But that wouldn't shock me. So him saying shock is like a big name, like the Oliveira or McGregor. But I also believe Oliveira deserves the Islam fight. I think he's already had too many fights that are not Islam after being told you're going to fight Islam, just do this one fight. And then he has to do another one. Just do this one fight. Has to do another one.
Yeah.
Do this one fight. I think you just give him Islam while Sarukian has to fight off with Topuria. That's what I think would be smarter than making Oliveira at his age do another, contenders fight. It's why does he keep having to do these contenders fights?
Yeah.
Give him the guy then.
Yeah.
Stop making him do all these shit contenders. They're good fights.
They're good fights.
They're good fights, but I want to see him against Islam.
Yeah.
I want to see that rematch. Right, we're going to change tone.
Okay.
We've had a look at the UFC313 with the news, the updates, all that thing. So there's been a lot that's happened in the NBA this past week. A lot.
It's been a big week for the NBA.
Massive week in the NBA. We're about midway through 65, 66 games, around that margin. So about 20 odd left.
Yeah.
Just under 20 left. A few teams starting to book their playoff spot or their at least postseason spots. I think 3 teams are through. Celtics, Thunder, Cavs, no shocks to anybody.
Yeah.
But what I want to start with is we just had a back-to-back of Thunder Nuggets. In game 1, you had Shea drop 48.
45.
Was it 45? 45 and 8. I thought it was 48 and 5. And then Jokic hurting his elbow in that game in the first quarter. Thunder get up. I was watching that game. I was at the gym. It was one of the early ones. Started 5, something like that.
It was really early.
And it was great because I got to watch it while I was at the gym. No, I loved it. Then game 2, you had the Nuggets win. And you had Jokic have 38, 14, whatever he had, right? Something, bunch of rebounds, bunch of assists. We all know it.
Yeah.
Shea play okay.
He had a subpar game.
Yeah, he was okay. Compared to Shea where he has 40, 30-point games.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was okay. You're very biased, we know that. Who's your MVP? Coming into it, a lot of talk about that top 5 candidacy list.
Yes. My MVP is still Shea.
Yeah.
I think that I wouldn't be surprised if Jokic won it. Obviously, he's putting up the numbers. I think
his best season. Yeah,
he's having his best season.
Yeah,
compared to his previous 3 MVP years, he's having his best year, which is wild to say. His team is still winning, but I've seen a lot of people online talk about Jokic means it because he's not getting as much help. But his roster isn't as bad as people are making it out. But
they're not that bad.
Rod Laurie is a good player. Aaron Gordon is a good player.
Malcolm Porter Jr. may not pass the rock, but he's a good shooter.
Christian Brown is a good player.
Westbrook historically is a good player, but even watching it, like when I was watching that game, Jokic wasn't Jokic that first game I was watching. Westbrook ran that court.
Westbrook and Jokic.
And he had him within 2 with about 5 minutes to go. And then the Thunder hit a couple of big shots and it just blew away because the Thunders were like, okay, Nuggets were okay, we're going to have to hit some big threes. So they went away from their playmaking a bit. But he was keeping them in it against that Thunder side.
Westbrook has been good all year. He has a very good season. Him and Jokic have great chemistry together. It's been really, as someone who...
So you got Shea.
I have Shea.
Yeah.
I have Shea. I think...
What would you say... Okay, so looking at the numbers, Shea was 31, 32 a game?
33.
33 now?
Maybe 33.
33 a game. But Jokic 29 a game. 15 and 11.
Yeah. I think a lot of...
I was looking at a stat actually for Jokic. And I have Shea as MVP, but I saw this and almost made me change from one. So there's 2 things. First one was Jokic. When Jokic is on the court, the Nuggets are 1, 2, or 3 in most of the important offensive statistics. They're 28th to 30th when he's not on the court.
Statistically, to counter that, when Shea is on the court, the Thunder are the best team in the league. When he's off, they're like bottom 2 in terms of...
What's about to say? So 400 pound gives you 1 for Shea. Shea leads the plus minus by a lot. First to second gap is bigger than like the second to 10th gap.
Yeah.
It is a massive amount. Probably overstretching there, but that's okay. The other stat I had for Jokic is he's a center. He's 52% from the field. Not that shocking. Takes a lot of close shots. Like mid-40s% from 3. And he's like 82% from the free throw line. He's nearly a 50-40-90 guy as a setup.
Well, so is Shea though, as a guard, and I would argue that...
I think it's hardest for a center.
I would say it's harder for a guard. You're smaller. You've got more of the defense is on you. You've got more to go through. As a big man, you should be shooting over 2 things in the field. As a 40% from 3 is impressive.
I was going to say, as a big man, you're not getting those good... No, those 3-point looks, you're not really getting.
But in the Nuggets offense, I had this talk with someone last night, actually. We were talking about the MVP race.
Yep.
So let me throw out a few things and tell me what you think, right?
All right, go.
The Nuggets, a lot of it is systematic. Okay? The Nuggets offense runs through Jokic.
I think it has to, though.
The points he gets and the assists he gets are because he is the hub. You could say the same for Schengen on the Rockets.
Right.
He's getting compared to a young Nikola Jokic because he is the hub of that team. He runs it. He's expected to get rebounds. He's the big man.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I think the rebounds doesn't matter that much in the MVP conversation. I think rebounds aren't that good of a statistic, if I'm honest.
Okay.
Because in my eyes, it's like rebounds are just like, okay. Like for a center especially, like you're in there. Of course you're going to get a bunch of rebounds. You're the tallest guy and you're in there all the time.
Okay, fair enough.
You know what I mean? Like, and like even as guards, when guards have a lot of rebounds, I'm like, okay, your team shoots a lot of threes. That's why you're getting rebounds, because the ball's coming out that far off a 3.
I see the point.
You know what I mean? I don't know. Rebounds, I don't think that, like, it's an important stat as a team. For an individual, I don't think it's that important.
Okay.
I think as a team, it shows how much hustle you have. But as an individual, it can just be like, oh, maybe you're a guard that's shooting a lot of threes. Maybe your team's just missing a lot.
Yeah.
And it is a lot about where you are.
Well, offensively, like I said, Jokic is just the hub.
Yeah.
Defensively, he is beyond terrible. Right? Jokic. He is an absolute cone on defense. And I think when you take...
I wouldn't say he's beyond terrible. I think that's a little bit... He's not beyond terrible.
He's not good. You can't guard anything.
He's good. But beyond terrible?
He is beyond terrible.
In my eyes, beyond terrible is like you're a G leaguer.
If you watch him on defense...
Yeah.
Right.
He's like Luka. And they're both not good.
No, but Luka at least puts in effort. Jokic puts in...
Oh.
Yeah. No.
Don't know if Luka puts in effort, man.
Luka puts in effort on defense, and Jokic doesn't put in effort on defense, nor is he that talented.
Okay.
Right? He's an offensive superstar, 100%. But he gets the stats he gets because he's the hub.
Yeah.
Right?
Same with the assists as well.
Assists.
I think assists is one of those stats where some guys can have their assists inflated really easily.
Well, if you're a Jokic, you're an OKC.
And some guys can have their assists taken away really easy because a simple thing is you drive to the lane, you kick it out, but the guy doesn't shoot it. He kicks it to the next one. You don't get the assist, but it was your drive that got the bucket at the end. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's things like that too.
I see your point. All right, so that's Jokic.
Yeah.
Alternatively, we have Shai.
Yeah.
Shai, similarly, the offense is built around him, but in a different way than it is Jokic, right? I think Shai could get double-digit assists a game, but when you have him averaging 6, you have Jalen Williams averaging 5. Yeah, there are Chet and Harden starting averaging.
I would also say, the Thunder, watching the Thunder, they're more of a
they're more of a team.
They're more of a team, like, as I said, if Shai drives and he kicks it, they're more likely to kick it to the next guy because he's a little bit more open.
Yeah.
Than Jokic kicking it to Michael Porter Jr. and he could have a guy in his face that shoot the rock.
Well, Jokic,
the stuff like that. And the team is like, oh, okay. They're more of a, where's Jokic?
The team is built around Jokic.
It's like, where's Jokic? Get Jokic.
The Thunder and Shai are built around everyone contributes, everyone makes plays, everyone has the ball.
And Shai's just the middle of it.
And I think for Shai to be in that offense where it's a very team-oriented
I agree.
Team,
I hope Shai is there
33 on the percentages he does, and be in the West leading by 12 games now.
For me, the biggest thing is he's playing as good as he's playing. He's leading the West 2nd year in a row. The West is so strong.
Yeah.
They're looking so good. For me, Shai is the MVP for those reasons alone.
Something else that I think they don't mention a lot on, sports shows like ESPN and stuff is, I think, a lot of people say that MVP is an individual award. I think you need to take team success into it. I used the example last night that Donovan Mitchell, I think, should also be in the MVP race.
I think so.
Because of the numbers he's putting up and the success that his team is having.
Yeah.
So I think for that reason, Shai, you need to give him a little bit more of a nod because of how well his team is doing.
I think as well with the MVP, it's such a subjective award. Like, it's annoying. It is annoying.
100%.
Like, one year they'll pick it for statistics. The next year they'll pick it because he's leading his conference, leading the league and his team. Yeah. The next year they'll just go, oh, he's playing really good, so we're going to give it to him. For example, Russell Westbrook 2017 won the MVP.
Yeah.
Average triple-double. Fair enough. Great. His team was like 6th or 7th in the West.
Yeah.
They were not good. They lost in the first round to Damian Lillard and Portland Trailblazers, right?
Have you seen that roster though? That roster.
It wasn't a good roster.
It was terrible. And for what I'm saying into the 6th seed.
No, but what I'm saying is, so that year, they won it despite being the 6th seed. He won that award. And then, as you're saying right now, Shai is leading the best team, yada, 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 right? And he's playing so well. For me, what's annoying about the MVP is the fact that they are so different. The points are so different.
Yeah.
Because in that year, I couldn't have the numbers in front of me. I bet you any money, James Harden was having a great year and his team was up the top.
Yeah.
So then, that would be an argument for James Harden. But that year, they chose to go with statistics, which is, annoying about the MVP that's not consistent. Then you look at Steph Curry 2021, his team was the play-in, but he would have been the 7th seed, around the same as Westbrook, right?
Yeah.
But he was having that amazing season where he was just balling. And it was like historical. But because he didn't have the historical triple-double, they went, nah, we're not going to do statistics this year. We're going to go with the top team, best player.
Well, the criteria for it changes every year.
That's what annoys me. Like, I'm not angry that Westbrook won it. I thought he won it. I'm not angry that Steph didn't win it that year. I didn't think his team was good enough for him to win it. But what annoys me is the fact that it's so topsy-turvy and it changes every single year.
Yeah.
And that is just... It's just infuriating because every year it changes to whatever the media is pushing.
Pretty
I mean, like, it's pretty much... It's just whatever the media is pushing. And it's just not good enough. They need to change it in a way that is consistent. There needs to be criteria. And yes, every couple of years you'll get it wrong. But there needs to be some sort of criteria.
I think you just need to be a bit more consistent with it.
Yep.
All right. They are very,
Whatever the media is talking about.
Yeah, it's whatever's important at the time. And yeah, I don't know, for this year, it's been very 50-50 amongst everyone. A lot of people say Jokic, a lot of people say Shea.
Yeah.
And everyone has, their different reasons.
Yep.
But like I said, personally, I'll give it to Shea for the reasons that I said before.
Averaging 33 on the best team in the West, which I think is
especially
when the West is such a good conference.
I wouldn't be surprised if Jokic won it.
Wouldn't be angry.
I would give Shea a nod.
Yeah, I agree. Looking at the whole MVP ladder.
Yep.
It was Jokic at 1, Shea at 2. Who was 3?
The latest ladder, you have Shea at 1.
Yeah.
You have Jokic at 2.
Because that was different last week, yeah.
You have Giannis at 3.
Yeah.
Tatum at 4.
Okay.
LeBron at 5.
I think with LeBron's injury, he'll fall out of that 5.
I think LeBron will probably fall out of the top 10.
I also don't think he deserves top 5.
I think he should.
I think it's his age that's got him in the top 5. I think the fact is,
and you need to take that in consideration since the Luka trade.
Yeah, but it's not an MVP consideration. That's just a greatness consideration. Like that goes into consideration on how great he is, not an individual MVP award.
No, but I think you need to. Then since the Luka trade, right? We talked about this last week. Luka's kind of picked that up a little bit since then. He's looking a bit more himself. But since that trade, LeBron has been the best player on the Lakers. Averaging, I'm not sure what since the trade, but I'm going to say 25,
28 and a half maybe, I think, since then.
Yeah.
I think it was around that 29, 28.
And it's on good shooting percentages. They're winning games. They won an 8-game win streak.
Yeah.
Or 9 maybe, I think it was.
Yeah.
And he was by far the best player on the team. But I think you have to give him up there. Like, they've climbed from...
But I don't think he's top
the
5. I think he's top 10.
No. I think he's climbed from the bottom of the play-in.
They were at the bottom of the play-in.
They were sitting around 8, 9.
No, I thought they were a bit higher.
No, they were sitting around 8, 9.
Okay.
And now they're up and they're in that 2, 3, 4 interchangeable zone.
Yeah, I think...
Their season's turned around. A part of it is to do with Luka.
No, but what you said earlier, though, I think Donovan deserves it. I think Donovan deserves to be 5. Your team is 54-10, and you're leading them.
That's where I would do a bit of a swap. I think you have Tatum at 4. I'd put Donovan at 4, and I'd switch Tatum down to where Donovan is at number 7.
No, see, I think Tatum's been good enough to be a top 5. I think Tatum has played better than LeBron this year. But as I said, LeBron is having a good year, but I think what's got him in the top 5 isn't his good year. It's the fact that he's 40 and doing this. And I don't think that's an MVP conversation. I think that plays a part, right? And that's the problem. Then why is his age playing a part in it? I think
40.
Yeah, but that's not an MVP conversation. You are 40 and this great. That's amazing. And then when people talk about greatness, that's when we bring it up.
Yeah, but I
don't think it's an MVP conversation. I think MVP is different. Like, it's not about your age. It's just who's playing the best. Like, if you pulled up his stats, you showed the film on how he's played all year long, all year long, you pulled all that up, didn't mention the age, he didn't look old, whatever, right? And you just went, bang, here you go, here's a top 10, I'm going to rank him. Would you rank his season without knowing his age? Top 5. Be honest.
Listen,
his whole season of work. Remember, it's not the last few weeks. It's the whole season of work.
But you're not going... Yes, you're going over the whole season, but the current ladder, it shifts throughout the year based on performances. So this ladder...
But it takes into account the whole year.
But he's top 5. He's been top 10 all year. But he's top 5 now.
I'm saying he's
the top 10.
I'm saying he ain't top 5.
No, but that's what I'm saying. I'm saying for the season, top 10, 100%. But right now, based off of how he's been playing and how the team has been playing.
But this ladder, that list is saying if the season ended today, this would be the top 5 rankings.
Yes.
No. Donovan is 5th.
No, Donovan is 4th and Tatum should be...
Tatum can be 5th and Donovan 4th.
Tatum can't be top 5.
I don't care. Tatum's top 5, yeah.
I don't think Tatum's top 5.
He's walked into the Lakers and not...
I don't even think he's the best player on his team.
Nah.
Jaylen Brown is the best player on the Celtics.
No, he's not.
100%.
It is 1A, 1B, but that A is reserved for Tatum.
No.
Yeah. 100%.
No. I would give that spot to Jaylen Brown. I think Tatum is the bigger personality. I think Tatum is a bit more marketable. And I think that's why he's gotten that spot, right? I think Jaylen Brown is very reserved.
I think you're disrespecting Tatum a little bit here.
I'm not saying he's bad, but
I think it's a little bit disrespectful.
Instead of going out and doing all these Jordan Brand events, Jaylen Brown is at universities doing Harvard lectures. He's not your average superstar mentally.
No, he's not. Right? But like, neither's a Wemby. But that's not taking away Wemby's greatness.
No, but I think that the point is, I think Jaylen Brown is the best player in the Celtics.
I think that's a little bit disrespectful to Tatum.
No.
I think it's 1A, 1B to Tatum.
Let's...
And I think it's a little bit disrespectful.
Let's bring up... I get ads side by side. I know it's more than just numbers, but
what I'm saying is, I get Jaylen Brown won that Finals MVP, but that was a very close Finals MVP. And in my eyes, I actually had Jason Tatum winning that Finals MVP. I was a little bit annoyed that he didn't win it.
No.
Because I thought Jaylen Brown just had the bigger moments, but the actual audio work through all the games, I thought Tatum outdid him, but Jaylen Brown's moments were better. One of those ones?
I would say Brown had the moments, but he also had the consistency, not just throughout the finals,
yes, but
throughout the end.
Jason Tatum also closed out the whole finals really well. I do think Tatum's better.
Okay, so side by side, you've got Tatum averaging 27, 9, 6. I'm rounding up.
Or round depending on, yeah.
I'm rounding to the closest. Yeah. So we've got 27, 9, 6, and 1. Half a block. Yeah,
you're not rounding that one as half. Yeah.
No. Shooting 45, 35, 80.
Okay.
Brown, 23, 6 and 5, 1 steal, half of a block, shooting 46, 32, 75. All right. The stats might not say it, but I still think Jaylen Brown's a better player.
No, I don't think so.
I think Jaylen Brown's the better. Tatum has... Let me put it this way for you, right? Tatum has the superstar potential.
Yeah.
Okay. And Tatum has the bigger moments in his career, 100%.
Well, he has the most points ever in a game 7. I think that goes a long way. I think people...
Brown is the better player. I think he's more consistent. I think he's hotter. And I think he's more well-rounded. Offensively and defensively, I think Jaylen Brown is more well-rounded.
Nah. I think it's close. But I think it is Tatum. I think, look at the body of work Tatum's put in his whole career too. I think people forget how good Tatum's been his whole career. He's 27. Yeah. He is now like 5th all time in most points before 27.
But you also got to consider the position he's been put into from his rookie year.
Yeah, Kyrie. Yeah, for his first 2.5 seasons. So he wasn't the number one guy at the start.
No, but he's been thrust into that position.
Remember that first year? Not the first year, sorry. The year Kyrie got injured in the playoffs, early in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
He was like first or second year in the league.
I think that was the second year.
The second year, took the Celtics to the Eastern Conference Finals. Then got knocked off. But that's the second year in the league.
He's not bad.
No, like,
he's not bad.
I think people don't like Tatum because he's cringe moments. And I agree. He says some stuff. He does some stuff. I'm like, what? You're just trying to be too cool.
Yeah.
And everyone just sees you're trying too hard. I think that's why people actually just don't like him that much. He's trying to be that superstar a bit too much.
Mm-hmm.
But what I think with him is, if you look at his body of work throughout his whole career, how do you doubt what he's done? Look at how many Eastern Conference Finals he's been to. Look at the deep playoff runs he's taken his team to. He's won a championship. He's already been to 2 finals. Before the age of 27, he's been to more Eastern Conference Finals trips than not. It'd be around about at least 50%, I reckon, with him.
Yeah.
They're never, maybe 1 year, they've been knocked off in the first round. He never gets knocked out of the first round, really. He's always been a bucket. He's good on both ends of the court. He's consistently good every year. I know he has bad games, but I'm saying, like, he's not having a bad year. He's not having a bad playoffs. He's, like, as a whole.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He has the most points ever in a game 7, with 51. He has massive moments in his career. He's beaten some very good teams. I think looking at all that, it's like, I just think he's not. There's not really the word I can think, because the word underrated doesn't sound right.
He's not underrated.
You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't sound right. But you know the point I'm trying to make? It's like people discredit that.
Yeah.
And I think if, like, LeBron didn't do those things before 27. Like, winning wise.
No, but
like,
he can't take winning into it because, like I said, he was thrust into a situation where he was meant to win.
How many people fail when they're thrusted too early?
But
you know what I mean?
But he wasn't too early because he had Kyrie, he had Hayward, he had Smart.
Kyrie was there the second year.
Hold on. No, he had Kyrie, Horford, Brown, Smart.
Was Brown good early?
Porzingis. Not his rookie year, but he picked it up. Right?
That's what I'm saying, but early, I'm saying as well. Like, you were saying he was thrust into it early, right?
Yeah.
Early in his career. Early in his career, he did it without Jaylen Brown being very good. Before Jaylen Brown had a handle.
But he had everyone. Still doesn't have a handle. But
he's better already.
But he had everyone else, right? He didn't have any pressure on him until Kyrie was gone. And that was 2 years in. And even then, he still had Smart. He still had...
Brown was just saying that's impressive.
He still had Horford. Winning-wise, if he didn't do, as much winning as he has...
Okay.
It would be surprising because that team was built to win. They could win that many games with someone else instead of Tatum.
I think you kind of discredit him a little bit there. Like, you kind of just said they did all this and they could have done it all without him.
Not without him, but if you had someone putting up, I don't know, who's someone that puts up slightly worse numbers than Tatum? Let's say,
I'm trying to think of a guy who's two ways. I'm just hard to pick up someone who's just a
no. I'm trying to think of like a two-way wing. That has is decent.
Let's say if you have.
Let's just look at stats real bit because I want decent numbers just for this point. Is there an easy way to bring this over?
I don't know. I'm trying to think.
Points per game. Let's just go off points per game.
A decent wing.
A wing. Let's go.
DeMar.
Okay, sorry. No, not DeMar because he's older.
I was going to say Toronto Raptors. DeMar DeRozan.
Raptors DeRozan.
Because I'm thinking like that's probably about the same level as Tatum.
Why are you trying to think skill set wise? Let's go Jalen Williams from this year, right? I'm not saying Jalen Williams is as good as Tatum, but in terms of the skill sets they offer, they're similar.
They wouldn't have gone that deep in the playoffs, no.
I think they would have.
No.
Because you've got to look at the whole roster. It's not Tatum, it's the whole team and their whole team.
What about going out there and sweeping the Brooklyn Nets? Just think that he might have beaten the Brooklyn Nets.
Yeah.
Sweeping them. No.
I would still have them sweeping.
No.
I don't think the whole lot changes. If you swap current day Jalen Williams out with Tatum, on those same rosters, you're getting similar results.
Nah, I don't think so.
And that's not a good discredit to Tatum.
I think it is, though.
It's right. It's me saying that the Celtics had a well-constructed roster.
They do have a well-constructed
roster. You could have thrown almost anyone that has that skill set in that position, and they would have thrived in that opportunity.
Yeah, but I'm saying they wouldn't have done what Tatum's done.
But it's not just Tatum.
I know, but it's never just that one player.
But that's what you're saying. You're saying that they're doing all of this because of Tatum and how...
No, I'm saying they have done this massive body of work, right? With Tatum.
Yeah.
Without Tatum, they would have done a very good body of work, but not as much.
When did Tatum get drafted? 2018?
Or Ben Simmons, he was third pick. 2016?
No.
2017.
Yeah.
I remember that was the same rookie year. And Ben Simmons took a year.
Yeah, the Simmons bit.
Yeah, so 2017.
Yeah, okay. Let's go. Alright, so the 2017 Boston Celtics roster.
You see, this is Kyrie.
Well, I'm going to go from 2017 and then I'm going to jump up to 2020. So before and after Kyrie.
Yep.
Alright. So on the roster, we had Aaron Baines, who was a decent backup big.
He was alright, yeah.
Jaylen Brown.
Wasn't good Jaylen Brown yet, though.
Hal Horford.
You got to remember that. He wasn't.
Kyrie.
Yeah.
Marcus Morris was good.
He was alright.
This is when Terry Rozier was still good.
He was alright, yeah.
Marcus Smart, Jason Tatum, and Daniel Tice, right? That's not the entire roster, but they're the contributing guys that played those heavy minutes. That's a good playoff team.
Yeah.
And if you swap...
But what I'm saying is, okay, but if you take Kyrie out of that team, just don't even replace him.
But they did.
No. I'm saying that injured year, Eden, his second year, Tatum has done very well to take that team. Extremely well. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying, you're forgetting things that he's done. And it's not just him. It is everybody, right? But I'm saying I think they would have been good, but not as good without Tatum. They would have been a good team. But I don't think they would have been as good. They would have maybe, instead of making the finals, made the Eastern Conference Finals. Instead of making the Eastern Conference Finals those years, they might have made the semis. Not every year. Some years they would have done the same amount. Just depends on who they played. But there's things that Tatum's done that I think we're forgetting about here. And that he is better than you're giving credit for. He's done a little bit more than what you're giving credit for. It is a team sport.
Yeah.
But then that's saying that Steph Curry wouldn't have done what he's done without all these guys. And it's no, yeah, you're right. He wouldn't have done all that. But it's still Steph Curry. He's still the guy. Same as Bron's. He wouldn't have won 2016 without yada, yada, yada. We know he wouldn't have won 2016 without Kyrie, Dellavedova, J.R. Smith, Tristan Thompson, all those guys. But Bron was the guy there. I'm saying Tatum is the guy, especially historically. I'm saying now it's more 1A, 1B. But you look back to 2020, it was 1, 2. Now it's 1A, 1B because Jalen's gotten better through the time. And I think you're forgetting, that Tatum is better for longer. You know what I mean? You're I think you're forgetting that Jaylen Brown wasn't very good at the start as well. No one imagined, Jaylen Brown has come out of nowhere, really.
No.
He wasn't meant to be as good. Then he is zapping ahead of everything he can be. He's doing so well for yourself. That's what I'm saying. I'm you're kind of forgetting that they weren't as good, but they have grown to be as good as they are now. You know what I mean?
I understand what you're saying.
And I think you're kind of discrediting Tatum a little bit because Tatum has been the consistent guy the whole way.
I think Tatum's good. I don't think he's as good as people make him out to be. I still think Jaylen Brown's a better player on that roster currently. I think he's a better player on that roster. I think he's more well-rounded. Everyone has their own, their own opinions.
Okay.
But
Well, let's ask the people listening.
Yeah.
All right. Tell us in the comments who you think is better. Is Jaylen Brown the better player at the Celtics, or is it Jason Tatum?
Yeah.
Who is 1A and who is 1B? And that pretty much wraps up.
today's episode, yeah.
That will wrap up episode 2 of the Off the Bench podcast. Little wrap up. We talked about the UFC 313. That was on Sunday. That's just gone past. Wrapped up the whole card, the main card, and a little bit of the prelims.
Touched on the MVP, who is on leader.
Into the NBA. We went into the MVP, who we think's leading the MVP race, and White's so close. And then we had some outrageous comments by Aiden Odo here. And then we jumped into the Celtics and talking about who is the guy. Is it Tatum or is it Brown?
And drop in the comments as well, not just who you think's better, drop who you think is leading the MVP race currently. Do you think it's Jokic? Do you think it's Shea? Tell us why.
And tell us what you want to see next.
Yeah, please leave comments on the YouTube, leave comments on our Instagram. You can find that at Off the Bench Pod _ on Instagram, and we have a link tree to our YouTube and our Spotify. Leave comments wherever, if there's anything that you guys want to see. We're always looking for feedback.
Yeah.
Ways to improve, more topics to talk about.
And we'll find a way to put it in.
100%.
So yes, thank you for listening, and we'll see you guys next week.